子供。
仲間や弱い人たちのことを錦の宮悪夢の勝利だ。知っても何とも思わないだ。お前のおかげだ。
お主がこの小さな手を怪我して
が長曽根虎鉄。
楽しみ半減やない。もうちょっとの辛抱や。
あの人だろ。
躊躇してるんや。来る喜びを忘れた言うなら。
東京を砲撃し、この国をぶっ壊す。どこにいるバットさん。どこだ。
京都大火で終わり。
褒めてやったのに女の心配か。
出番だぜ薫殿。おいおい言えねえ。
死するでござる今拙者が。
何が。
俺が興味があるのはな、と話せ。決着をつけようじゃ。熱いぜ。いっそ殺っていたのは。ダメ。仏を呪い。 その程度だ。伝説。
Hey guys, today we are diving headfirst into the blistering world of Rurouni Kenshin, Kyoto Inferno, the second installment of the live-action trilogy that really amps up the stakes. Let's be honest, the sword's swinging. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of why a former government assassin with a penchant for flashy moves is now hunting down another former government assassin with even flashier moves, I put a lot of work into these, so if you like what you see, a like and a subscribe is always appreciated. No worries if not. Alright, let's talk about Shishio Makoto, a character who clearly skipped the anger management class. Our story picks up a bit after the first film, with Kenshin and Mura, the legendary Battosai, attempting to lead a quiet life. He's all about protecting the innocent now, using his reverse blade sword, a sakabato, to ensure he never takes another life. We see him in a peaceful domestic scene, washing clothes, the gentle splash of water a stark contrast to the clanging steel we know is coming. Kaoru and Hiko are there, bringing a sense of normalcy and warmth. It's almost sickeningly wholesome, isn't it? But as always in these flicks, peace is fleeting. Sanosuke, our resident brawler and human wrecking ball, crashes in with ominous news. Whispers of a new terror, a name that sends shivers down spines, Shishio Makoto. Kenshin's face, usually calm, holds a flicker of recognition, a shadow from his past threatening to consume his present. The government, well, what's left of their competent personnel, desperately needs Kenshin. Turns out Shishio was Kenshin's successor as the government's shadow assassin, but after getting burned alive literally by the government they both serve, which is a truly terrible HR policy, just saying. He's returned as a vengeful fire demon. The current officials, looking rather sweaty and stressed, explain Shishio's terrifying plan, overthrowing the government and plunging Japan back into chaos. Then in steps Sato Hajime, the gruff, Volve-like former Shinsengumi captain, looking as cool and collected as ever, despite the impending national meltdown. He warns Kenshin that Shishio is no ordinary foe. He's a force of nature, a monster, and only Kenshin, the Hidoriki Battosai, has any chance of stopping him. The weight of this burden crashed down on Kenshin, the metallic clang of his past echoing in his ears. This isn't just about saving Japan, it's about Kenshin's soul. He's sworn off killing, yet the only way to stop Shishio might force him back into the bloody role of Battosai. The internal struggle is intense, the emotional punches hitting harder than any sword strike. He paces, he broods, he has a moment with Kaoru, who, bless her heart, tries to hold him back with words of peace and the warmth of their life together. But Kenshin, ever the stoic hero with a tragic backstory, knows what he must do. The scene is heavy with unspoken fears, the quiet rustle of his kimono as he prepares to leave, a sound filled with dread. He gently embraces Kaoru, a silent promise in the touch, before turning his back on the peaceful life he built. The road to Kyoto is long, dangerous, and steeped in the shadows of his past. The soft whisper of his name from Kaoru fades as he disappears into the distance. A man walking towards his inevitable destiny. As Kenshin treks towards Kyoto, he encounters a spirited young kunoichi named Misao Makimachi. She's all youthful exuberance and lightning-fast reflexes, a stark contrast to Kenshin's brooding demeanor. Initially, she tries to rob him because, you know, a man alone on a road is basically an ATM. But Kenshin, being Kenshin, easily disarms her with his trademark swiftness, all without drawing blood. The clatter of her dropped weapons on the dusty road signals the end of her attempt. Misao quickly realizes Kenshin isn't just some wanderer. There's a quiet strength about him. She's searching for her beloved Aoshi, the former leader of the Anawabanshig, and seeing Kenshin's similar skill set, she decides to tag along. The chemistry between them is immediately charming. A much-needed breath of fresh air amidst the heavy narrative, adding a few lighter thuds and playful nudges to the journey. While Kenshin is collecting new traveling companions, Aoshi Shinomori, the former elite leader of the Battleship, is having a decidedly less wholesome time. He's been consumed by a singular, destructive obsession, defeating Kenshin to prove he's the strongest. Remember their clash in the first movie? Yeah, Aoshi hasn't forgotten either, and his ego seems to have taken a major hit. We see him training with a furious intensity, the whoosh of his kodachi cutting through the air, his face etched with a desperate, almost insane drive. His once noble demeanor is now clouded by a chilling madness. His former comrades, like the elderly Okina, watch with deep sorrow, knowing Aoshi has strayed far from their path. The crack of his blades against unseen targets speaks volumes about his mental state, a relentless, almost painful symphony of vengeance. It's clear this guy needs a hug, or at least a very good therapist, neither of which Kenshin is qualified to provide. Kenshin and Misao finally reach Kyoto, only to find the city already reeling from Shishio's influence. It doesn't take long for Kenshin to attract attention, specifically from one of Shishio's jumping katana, or 10 swords, named Cho the Sword Hunter. This guy is an interesting character choice. He's got these weird, whip-like swords that look like they belong in a B-movie monster flick, and he's not afraid to use them. The battle erupts in a dark, confined space, the metallic scrapes and shings of Cho's blades against Kenshin's Sakabado filling the night. Kenshin's speed and defensive prowess are on full display, each parry a testament to his commitment to not killing. The thud of bodies hitting the ground, the shouts of civilians, it all paints a chaotic picture of Shishio's brutal reach. Cho, for all his eccentric weapons, is a formidable opponent, forcing Kenshin to push his limits without resorting to his old ways. It's a messy, kinetic fight, the sounds of struggle echoing in the narrow alleyways. The fight against Cho and his goons is getting pretty dicey. Kenshin, still holding back, is trying to protect Misao and the innocent bystanders while fending off an absurd number of opponents. Just when things look their grimmest, with the crackle of fire and the groan of straining wood, who should burst onto the scene but our favorite human battering ram, Sanosuke. He crashed through a wall like it's made of tissue paper, a booming roar leaving no doubt about his presence. The ground shakes with his impact. His massive zanbatsu, or rather, his giant slab of metal he calls a sword, carves a path through the enemy ranks, the dull thud of his blunt attacks making it clear he's not messing around. It's a glorious reunion, a moment of much-needed levity and brute force. With Sanosuke joining the fray, the odds suddenly don't look so impossibly stacked against Kenshin, his heavy blows creating openings for Kenshin's more graceful, precise movements. While Kenshin and co. are having street brawls, we cut to the main event, the man himself, Shishio Makoto, in his subterranean lair. It's less secret evil hideout and more volcano-themed corporate boardroom of doom here, bathed in the sinister glow of molten rock and roaring fires. Shishio assembles his elite squad, the Jappangatana. These aren't your average henchmen. They're a collection of utterly bizarre yet incredibly deadly individuals. From the perpetually smiling, insanely fast Sojiro Cedar, who looks like he just stepped out of a boy band but doesn't have a blink, to the silent giants and the strategically minded. Each member has a unique and terrifying skill. The metallic click of their footsteps on the stone floor, the low hum of Shishio's voice articulating his plans for a new, blood-soaked Japan. It all creates an atmosphere of oppressive dread. You get the sense that these guys aren't just loyal. They're borderline fanatical. Apparently, villainy has a great HR department because Shishio's got some loyal, if not slightly unhinged, followers. Asterisk Shishio isn't just talking big. He's acting on it. His next target is a government-affiliated steel factory, a vital cog in the war machine. His forces, led by his formidable lieutenants, storm the complex with terrifying efficiency. The sounds are deafening, the crash of metal against metal, the roar of explosions as buildings are torn apart, the panicked shouts of workers caught in the crossfire. Shishio himself oversees the operation, a chillingly calm figure amidst the chaos, his bandaged form illuminated by the flames. He's not just a brute, he's a strategic mastermind, systematically dismantling the government's resources. The sheer scale of destruction, the crackle of burning timber, and the groan of collapsing structures drive home the terrifying reality of his power. It's clear that Kenshin isn't just up against a single opponent, but an entire, well-oiled, brutally effective war machine bent on total annihilation. The inevitable happens. Kenshin finally comes face to face with Shishio Makoto himself. This isn't just a fight, it's a statement. Shishio, cloaked in his bandages, wields a special sword that ignites due to the oils secreted from his charred body, a truly unsettling visual. The air crackles with intense energy as Kenshin, despite his incredible speed and technique, finds himself outmatched. Shishio's strength is monstrous, each strike a bone-jarring impact. Kenshin's Sakabato clangs desperately against Shishio's fiery blade, but the difference in power is palpable. Shishio doesn't just block, he dominates. The sound of Kenshin's grunts of pain is a stark reminder of his mortality. In a truly brutal moment, Shishio uses Kenshin's own mercy against him, overwhelming him and, with a powerful kick, sends him plunging into the raging, burning river below. The splash and sizzle of Kenshin hitting the flaming water is a horrifying sight, leaving us all wondering if our hero has just met his fiery end. Talk about a bad day at the office. Just when you think Kenshin's storyline has reached its literal boiling point, fate, or rather, his ridiculously powerful master, intervenes. Washed ashore, battered and barely clinging to life, Kenshin is discovered by none other than Hiko Seiyuro, the master of heightened meets Sojiro and Kenshin's original sensei. Hiko, a man who clearly believes in making a dramatic entrance, looks like he stepped out of a fashion magazine for wandering samurai, all flowing robes and effortless cool. The sight of him brings a wave of relief, like a collective sigh from the audience. He doesn't say much, just a gruff acknowledgement of Kenshin's stupidity for losing, but his actions speak volumes. He carries Kenshin away, the gentle rustle of his cloak a stark contrast to the earlier cacophony of battle. Kenshin is safe, for now, but the path ahead, under Hiko's tutelage, promises to be anything but easy. Under Hiko's gruff care, Kenshin slowly begins to heal, physically at least. The cuts and bruises mend, but the emotional scars from his humiliating defeat at Shishio's hands are far deeper. We see him lying there, bandaged, staring at his Sakabato, the symbol of his vow. The silence in Hiko's secluded dwelling is broken only by Kenshin's ragged breathing and the faint creak of the wooden floor. His mind replays the battle, the overwhelming power of Shishio, the feeling of utter helplessness. The specter of his Battosai past, the ruthless killer he swore to abandon, looms large. He's torn between his vow to never kill again and the brutal necessity of stopping Shishio. The internal struggle is intense, the mental thumps and crashes of his conflicting ideals almost audible. It's a moment of profound vulnerability for our hero, showing that even the greatest warriors face inner demons far more terrifying than any external foe. Talk about a rough recovery period. Hiko Seiyuro, bless his blunt, powerful soul, isn't about coddling. He immediately thrusts Kenshin into a brutal training regimen, pushing him beyond anything he's ever experienced. The goal, to master the ultimate heightened meet Tsurujuru technique, the Amikakeru Runo Hirameki. This isn't just sparring, it's a systematic dismantling and rebuilding of Kenshin's fighting spirit. We hear the sharp cracks of Hiko's wooden sword connecting with Kenshin's body, the grunts of effort, the heavy thuds as Kenshin is repeatedly knocked down. Hiko's lessons are harsh, philosophical, and punctuated by physical pain. He forces Kenshin to confront his weaknesses, his self-doubt, and the fundamental flaw in his current no-kill philosophy when facing a monster like Shishio. The rhythmic sounds of their practice, the whoosh of swords, the heavy breathing, are a relentless symphony of struggle and perseverance. Kenshin is literally beaten into realizing that his current path, while noble, is not strong enough to defeat true evil. Meanwhile, Misao, ever the loyal friend, makes her way to the Atonement headquarters in Kyoto. She's worried sick about Aoshi, who, let's be honest, has gone full dark side. She meets Okina, the kindly but troubled elder of the group, who reluctantly fills her in on Aoshi's tragic transformation. The scene is filled with quiet sadness, the clink of teacups contrasting with the heavy weight of their conversation. Okina recounts Aoshi's desperate need to surpass Kenshin, how the defeat of their previous encounter twisted his mind, making him abandon his duties and friends for a singular, destructive quest for power. Misao's heart aches, the thrum of her concern for Aoshi palpable. She realizes that the man she admired has been consumed by a dangerous obsession, and the sound of her own hopeful whispers for his return seems to vanish in the cold, hard reality of his madness. Back at the dojo, Kaoru, bless her pure heart, can't just sit idly by. The quiet creak of the empty dojo, the silence where Kenshin's presence used to be, is too much for her. Ignoring everyone's warnings about the dangers of Kyoto, she sets off on her own, determined to find Kenshin. We see her navigating the bustling, yet increasingly tense, streets of Kyoto, her eyes scanning every face, her voice a desperate whisper calling Kenshin's name. The hubbub of the city, the shouts of vendors, the clatter of wood and getter all become a frantic backdrop to her singular quest. She's not a warrior, but her courage is undeniable, fueled by her love and concern. Her journey adds an emotional depth to the film, a grounded human element amidst the grand battles, reminding us what Kenshin is fighting for, not just Japan, but the people he cares about. It's truly a testament to her devotion, or perhaps just a little bit of beautiful recklessness. Shishio isn't just content with local skirmishes, he has grander, far more destructive plans. In a dramatic reveal, he unveils his monstrous, steam-powered ironclad battleship, the Rengoku. It's a marvel of engineering. If you're into naval warfare and mass destruction, his intention? To sail this floating fortress to Tokyo, cripple the new government, and cement his reign. But before that, he plans to light up Kyoto like a bad bonfire. Literally, he's going to burn it to the ground. The chilling roar of the ship's engines, the dull clang of its massive hull, signals an impending cataclysm. The sound of his insidious laughter echoes through his lair, a deeply unsettling promise of fire and destruction. It's a truly terrifying display of megalomania, and the sheer audacity of his plan makes your jaw drop. Apparently, villainy means never having to say you're sorry, especially when you're planning to incinerate a historical city. And just like that, Kyoto is engulfed in a sea of flames. Shishio's forces, like an army of fire-starting demons, begin their horrific work. The serene temple city is transformed into an inferno, the air thick with smoke and the terrified screams of its inhabitants. The crackle and roar of the spreading fires are deafening, accompanied by the frantic thud of running feet and the crash of collapsing buildings. Kenshin's allies, including Sanosuke and the remaining Atonement, spring into action, desperately trying to save as many people as possible. It's a chaotic, visceral sequence, the heat of the flames almost radiating from the screen. The metallic shing of swords clashes with the anguished cries of citizens, creating a cacophony of fear and desperation. It's a stark reminder of Shishio's utter lack of empathy, his willingness to sacrifice countless lives for his twisted vision of a new Japan. This isn't just a battle, it's a disaster. Back at Hiko's mountain retreat, Kenshin has his breakthrough. In a moment of intense focus and internal clarity, he finally grasps the essence of the Amikaku no Hiromeki, the ultimate technique of heightened Mitsuru. This isn't just a fancy sword move. It's a fundamental shift in perspective and power. We see him execute the technique, the air around him seeming to warp with the sheer force of his blade. It's a quiet but immensely powerful visual, a testament to his renewed resolve. The soft push of his sword, followed by a barely perceptible thwack of air displacement, signifies his mastery. The previous sounds of his grunts and struggles during training are replaced by a serene intensity. It's a moment of triumph, but also one of grim acceptance. He has gained the power to defeat Shishio, but at what cost to his own soul? Hiko gives a rare, approving nod, a subtle acknowledgement of his student's immense growth. Our boy is back, and he's bringing a whole new level of sword swinging fury. With his training complete and his resolve ironclad, Kenshin makes his way back to Kyoto, now a city engulfed in flames. The contrast between his peaceful mountain training and the horrific reality of the burning city is stark. He runs through the inferno, his face grim, the rhythmic thud of his feet on the scorched earth punctuated by the crackle of flames and distant screams. He sees the devastation firsthand, the suffering of the people, and it hardens his resolve. There's no longer any hesitation, only a singular, focused determination to stop Shishio. The sounds of destruction intensify around him, urging him forward. He's not just the Battosai anymore. He's Kenshin, the protector, wielding immense power but still clinging to his moral compass. It's a race against time, a desperate dash through the fiery chaos, towards the confrontation that will decide the fate of Japan. Talk about an urgent commute. Kenshin finally catches up to Sojiro Sita, Shishio's cheerful, yet terrifyingly efficient, right-hand man. This kid, with his permanent smile and unsettling calm, is considered the fastest of the Juppengatana, hence his nickname. The Heaven Sword, the fight that erupts, is less a battle and more a blur of impossible speed. The metallic sheen of their blades is almost continuous, a high-pitched whine as they crash, each strike barely visible to the naked eye. Kenshin, having mastered the Amikaku, is finally able to counter Sojiro's absurd speed, meeting him blow for blow. The air crackles with their intensity. The ground occasionally vibrates with the force of their parents. It's a masterclass in kendo, a dizzying display of technique and raw power, forcing Kenshin to rely on every ounce of his new training. The battle is a testament to Kenshin's growth, but also highlights the sheer, terrifying skill of Shishio's elite. Sojiro's unwavering smile, even in the face of Kenshin's new power, is unnerving, like he's having the best time ever while trying to dismember him. What a guy! While Kenshin's having his lightning fast duel, Shishio's grand plan grinds into terrifying motion. The Rengoku, that monstrous ironclad, slowly pulls away from the docks, its massive hull groaning as it picks up speed. The deep, guttural roar of its engines resonates through the burning city, a sound of dread and impending doom. Smoke billows from its stacks, a dark plume against the fiery backdrop of Kyoto. This isn't just a ship, it's a floating declaration of war, destined for Tokyo. The sight of it moving, seemingly unstoppable, sends a chill down your spine, highlighting the sheer scale of the threat. The quiet splash of the waves against its iron hull, juxtaposed with the distant streams from the city, paints a grim picture of Shishio's chilling efficiency. It's a race against time, and our heroes are falling behind, with the fate of an entire nation hanging in the balance. Someone really needs to invest in some fast boats or, a giant torpedo, against all odds, and with a healthy dose of sheer recklessness, Kaoru and Misao managed to sneak aboard the Rengoku. Yes, the same battleship that's currently cruising towards Tokyo with an agenda of mayhem. They're less stealth operatives and more determined women with a deadly. The deck is a chaotic scene of Shishio's men, the thud of their boots on the metal echoing with their shouts. Kaoru, despite her lack of combat experience against such foes, fights with fierce determination. Her kendo skills surprisingly effective. Misao, the Kunoichi, is a whirlwind of agile strikes and evasive maneuvers, her small blades a blur. The metallic clang of their weapons against their opponent's swords, the grunts of effort, the occasional boom of the ship's machinery. It's a claustrophobic, intense battle. They're outnumbered and outgunned, but their courage is unyielding, each strike fueled by their unwavering loyalty to Kenshin and their love for Japan. It's truly inspiring and also a little bit terrifying that they pulled this off, having finally overcome Sojiro's impossible speed in a blur of strikes and counter-strikes, a truly exhausting battle. Probably gave the editor carpal tunnel. Kenshin now faces the daunting task of actually getting onto the moving battleship. In a truly cinematic moment, he makes a daring leap, his figure silhouetted against the burning city, landing with a solid thump on the Rengoku's deck. The ship's massive form is a stark contrast to his lone figure. He's here, he's ready, and he's not messing around. The internal roar of the ship's engines seems to pulsate with his own renewed determination. The metallic clanging of the ship's machinery and the distant sounds of Kaoru and Misao fighting spur him forward. He wastes no time immediately engaging Shishio's remaining forces. Hisaka Bado a whirlwind of defensive and offensive strikes, each parry and deflect carrying an immense power, hinting at the force he's now capable of unleashing. The final showdown is imminent, the tension palpable. Like a plucked bowstring about to snap. Kishin carves a path through the Rengoku's metallic corridors. Each clang of his sword a grim announcement of his arrival. His movements are precise, efficient, a symphony of deadly grace. He dispatches Shishio's remaining henchmen with fluid ease, the dull thuds of their bodies hitting the steel deck quickly fading as he presses on. The air grows heavier with each step, the anticipation of the final battle almost suffocating. Finally, he reaches the main chamber, the heart of the Rengoku, where Shishio awaits. The visual is striking. Shishio, still bandaged, surrounded by lights, radiating an aura of killing power. The silence in the chamber is absolute, a stark contrast to the chaos outside. This isn't just a fight. It's the climax of an epic saga, the ultimate clash between two ideologies, two forces of nature. The tension in the air is thick, the very atmosphere vibrating with unspoken challenges. The movie ends here, leaving us hanging, but promising an explosive conclusion to their rivalry. It's like watching an epic boxing match, and then they cut to commercial right before the final round. Rude, but effective. And so, Kyoto Inferno concludes, leaving us on the precipice of an unimaginable conflict. Kenshin's journey, marked by loss, doubt, and ultimately, newfound strength, reminds us that true power lies not just in physical prowess, but in the unwavering spirit to protect what you hold dear. This film beautifully illustrates that even in the face of overwhelming evil, the human heart, capable of both immense darkness and profound light, can rise to meet any challenge. It's a testament to resilience, a call to never surrender to despair, even when the odds feel insurmountable. The choices we make, the battles we fight, shape not only our own destiny, but the world around us. May we all find the courage to face our own Shishio Makotos with the same unyielding spirit.